Hello everyone. As you can see, I got my engine on the stand, and I also have my main liners in. One little thing I wanted to show you before you, well actually it would be afterwards, but this rear main seal here, see how it's like a rope? Well, what you have to do is pack that in real tight and then cut it off flush with your block surface here. You have to do the same thing for the cap too. Not real sure why they still use this. This is a rather old and dated method for a rear main seal, but it does work. It's just a little kind of a pain in the butt. But normally what you would do whenever you install a crank, you would first check your oil clearance first, which would mean you set your liners in dry without grease on them, and set your crank in without your seal, and you would use Plastigauge. You would lay it on top of your crank on each of your journals, and then you would bolt the caps on with their liners in it, and you would torque them to spec. And what you would do then is remove them, and what happens is whenever you torque your caps down, it'll smash the Plastigauge out, and you use the package to measure how wide the Plastigauge is smashed out, and you compare it with the I guess you could say guides on the package, and then that will tell you how many thousandths of an inch of oil clearance you have in your bearings. Whenever you do that, something to look for is if you go ahead and torque one of your caps down and you notice that the plastic kind of starts out wide but then tapers, that means that your crank is bent, or your liner is not seated properly. So if you see that, definitely take your crank back out and kind of check everything over. But if you're still getting that whenever you if everything's good and everything, and you're still getting that tapered reading on your Plastigauge, just put a little bit of oil in your bearings and spin the crank over and see if it binds. If it binds with your new bearings in, then that means that your crank is definitely bent and you will need a new one. But like I said, I've already replaced these bearings in this car once, and it's been such a short time that these bearings have been in here and they're still in very good shape, that I really don't see a need for me to measure my clearance because I've already done it. So what I'm going to do is just skip that part, and I'm just going to throw this crank in. I'm just going to lay it in. I'm just going to kind of show you how to gently put it in. And in the next video, I will torque my caps and set my thrust with my thrust bearing here in the middle. I'll show you how to do that. But I'm going to set you guys up here. There we go. Now, I use these gloves because they don't like absorb dirt really too much. And it kind of just stays on the surface, so you can kind of keep cleaning them as you're working. And if you just use your bare hands, sometimes dirt or oil or grease or whatever will get trapped in your skin, on the very surface of your skin, and you can actually leave it on whenever you're cleaning. So that's why I wear these gloves when I'm doing final assembly work on an engine. It seems to work very well. I'm going to bring this crank over and show you. So here's the crank. Ooh, I'm going to go around to the other side. Here's the crankshaft. As you can see, it's all, I got my these parts all cleaned up. One thing you want to do is definitely take a small brush or something and fit it in these holes, and make sure that they're clean. But it's pretty basic. Just go ahead and clean the living crap out of it. Can't have it too clean. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this in. Now it's going to be very similar to the camshaft, but it'll be a little easier since you don't have to guide it through anything. You just kind of lay it in. But you want to be very careful and not nick up your bearings. So we're just going to go ahead, very gently lay it in there. Okay. As you can see, it's fully seated. And next video, I'm going to go ahead and put my caps on, torque them, and then spin this to make sure it's good. Make sure it's not bent or anything. But okay, I'll go ahead and throw my caps on and I'll make another video. Thank you for watching.